What's going on, everyone? Jeremy from the Quartering, and J.K. Rowling is canceled. That's right. You know, when you cater to the fanatical ideologues on Twitter for virtue points, for retweets, eventually they will come for you. It is inevitable. And pardon me if I break out the world's tiniest violin for J.K. Rowling, as I have to defend her now. Because as awful as a person I think that she is in terms of virtue signaling, you know, she's always talking about everything's good. Everyone should take in a migrant. And meanwhile, she has like a 20-room mansion and takes none in. This is the type of vapid, pointless virtue signaling that J.K. Rowling does. She also retcons Harry Potter characters for retweets whenever she sees fit.
Now, J.K., recently you caused a media firestorm when you announced that one of your characters in your book was gay.
That's correct. Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts, is a homosexual.
You know, she's got the classical, surprise, you, the reader, were gay all along. Or, you know, Dumbledore's gay, or this character's gay. Ha ha ha, retweet me, millennials. I know you. The only book you ever read is Harry Potter, which is kind of a hilarious burn. You know, every time I get into some sort of conversation with somebody, I just want to be like, read another book. You know, it's you know, there's nothing wrong with the Harry Potter books, but you know, if you're in your mid-30s and those are the only books you've read, you know, 2020 is coming around and there's another opportunity to make a New Year's resolution and maybe decide, hey, I'm going to read just one other book than Harry Potter. Well, J.K. Rowling, support of a researcher who is being fired for being anti-trans sparks backlash. Now, to give you the story, oh, J.K. Rowling. I'm a great violin player. So in Britain yesterday, or well, I guess breaking news, and today a hashtag was trending, hashtag I stand with Maya. J.K. Rowling joins online support for a tax expert who was fired for, quote, men cannot become women tweet. Now remember, fired for a tweet. Fired for her opinion. She now has a crowdfunder that has close to £83,000 in it, and she is set to appeal her tribunal ruling. She lost. So, this is according to Independent. A researcher who lost her job after tweeting that men cannot change their biological assignment has lost an employment tribunal after her opinions were ruled absolutist. No, but it's a fact. Look, I know I have trans folks that watch me, and they know how I feel. I will say it again, though, for the people in the back. If you're not hurting anybody, more power to you. I just couldn't care less. If it makes you happy, it makes me happy. Just as long as nobody else's rights are infringed upon, that is as far as my opinion extends. You want to identify as an androgynous tree person, but you show up for work every day and you're a good mom or dad tree, heck yeah. Live your life. You get one. Do whatever you want, okay? But the fact is, this researcher made a factual statement. No, you're biologically still a male, or you're biologically still a female. That's a fact. Now, pointing that out, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, sticking it in somebody's eye to make them feel bad kind of makes you a jerk. But certainly, losing your job over it is ridiculous. The Central London Employment Tribunal upheld the firing of tax expert Maya Fostater, 45 years old, over a series of tweets questioning government plans to allow people to self-identify as another gender. Ms. Forstater, was visiting a fellow at Center for Global Development, which is a think tank based in London and Washington that campaigns against poverty. She was accused of using offensive and exclusionary language. Why are we... Oh, God, this is so frustrating. You're taking the offense of, like, 6 people in your country and you're making everybody else live under that rule. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've seen happen to the UK. It's where a lot of really progressive minded people in the United States would like to see here, the erosion of free speech in order to protect people's feelings. She was accused of using offensive and exclusionary language on Twitter for saying men cannot change into women. Her legal dispute against her former employer was seen as a test on whether gender critical view that there were only 2 biological sexes was protected philosophical belief under the 2010 Equality Act, which apparently it is. Judge James Taylor, who should be fired, decided that Ms. Forstater's view was incompatible with human dignity and fundamental rights of others. This woman was fired for sharing her opinion on Twitter, an opinion that no one is forced to see, an opinion that no one has to believe, an opinion that everyone is open to debate. She was not only fired, but her termination was upheld by the courts. Ridiculous. If Ms. Forstater had won the case, it would have legally prevented employers from dismissing staff for expressing their view of LGBTQ rights. So, you should be able to express your view on whatever you want. Now, if you express your view on your employer and they sack you, that's something I can understand. Judge Taylor said that the tax expert was not entitled to ignore the legal rights of trans folks and the enormous pain that can be caused from misgendering a person. So now her opinion, agree with it or not, I mean, it's scientific fact. There's nothing to debate here. This is ridiculous clown world baloney. And any one of my trans friends would agree with me. You know why we don't talk about it? Because we don't live on Twitter. I don't go, hey trans friend, let's talk about you being trans. No, I talk about video games or something crazy that's happening in the world. You treat people like you would anybody else. That's, I got to imagine, what anyone would want, whether you're any member, any letter in the LGBTQ soup. All right? He concluded, if a person has transitioned from male to female, he has, quote, gender recognition certificate, that person is legally a woman. That is something that Ms. Forstater is entitled to ignore. Ms. Forstater's position is not entitled, even if a trans woman has a GRC, she cannot honestly describe herself as that. That belief is not worthy of respect in a democratic society. Jesus, why don't you just hang her? I mean, seriously, this is what your court system is wasting time on? Oh my gosh, look at the streets, man. Look at look at the acid. Look at all the... You have other issues that are really affecting people, not one person's opinion. And look, this video, and people that will disingenuously represent my position, this video is not about whether or not I agree with her. A statement of biological fact is fact, all right? Now, I'm saying that it's my opinion that live and let live. If you're not infringing on my rights, I'm not infringing on your rights. Let's all go to the bar and have a beer, okay? But this is infringing on her rights to have an opinion. It is absolutely ludicrous to see this happen. The fact that she was fired is ridiculous. The fact that the court upheld it is also ridiculous. The fact that people have to raise £100,000 to fight this is ridiculous. The fact that they won't win in appeal is also ridiculous because the UK is a joke. But nonetheless, J.K. Rowling is now being accused of being a TERF for standing by researchers sacked for her gender critical beliefs. Oopsie, J.K. Rowling. I guess you were the villain all along. As she tweeted out just 2 hours ago, dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, hook up with consenting adults, live your best life in peace and security. I agree with all of that. However, and then she finishes with, but force women out of their jobs for stating that gender is real. Well, it's the S word, but I don't want to avoid that. Hashtag I stand with Maya. Hashtag this is not a drill. As one woman who is a mother to a trans daughter replied, "My daughter who is trans is a big fan of yours. It breaks my heart to see you post something indicating that discrimination against her is perfectly fine." What? Where's the discrimination? You ask somebody their private opinion, they're allowed to have it. Many followers and Harry Potter fans criticized the tweet and branded Rowling a TERF for her defense of Forstater. By the way, a TERF, God, I wish I didn't know about this, is a trans exclusionary radical feminist, meaning a subset of a subset of a subset. In September 2018, a tweet from Forstater read, quote, what I'm so surprised at is that smart people I admire who are absolutely pro-science in other areas and champion human rights and women's rights are tying themselves into knots to avoid saying the truth that men cannot change into women because that might hurt men's feelings. Absolute fine statement to make. Absolutely factual statement to make. Will people be offended by it? Okay, but it's a fact. It's like saying tweeting out water is wet, and then there's some small subset of people that identify as water, and then I'd get fired for it, and the court would uphold that. One person wrote, "Wow, J.K. Rowling has gone full TERF." Another tweet reading, "J.K. Rowling full-blown TERF, and she's saying it with her chest." I don't even know what that means. And a former fan who is trans wrote, "I grew up as a trans child and reading your books as an escape. I would often pick out names for characters and give it to myself before I felt ever comfortable for who I was. This decision to support people who hate me and want to do me harm brings me to tears." Again, this is not about these people being trans. It's about these people being insane. J.K. Rowling did not say there's anything negative about being trans. She's saying that somebody shouldn't be fired for having their opinion. Now, I don't care. Boo-hoo, J.K. Rowling. Look, my fans know if I misspeak in a video, right? Or if something comes up and I'm too callous about it or cavalier, they will give me the benefit of the doubt to clarify things because I don't recruit crazy people. But when you're J.K. Rowling and you play with fire, sometimes you're going to get burned, and Twitter right now is having their way with her, and I don't feel bad about it one bit. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.